Oh, just a normal compressor. Yeah, just I got two. You've seen them, two side by side.
Yeah, right.
You've probably seen it. Yeah, when we did, you would have seen it, but it would have been a long time ago. Just two cheap, shitty ones. Actually, we're live, right? So.
Yeah. Welcome.
Wow, that's a good start to a podcast, isn't
it?
Yeah.
We just trail in from our little conversation that we're having on our own. That's all right. Don't worry about it.
We'll get there. No Mert tonight.
No, Mert's not feeling good, which is not good. Brad and Anthony, here we go. We've got a few guys coming on board, which is good to see. Fuck, it's been a while for me. It feels like a lifetime ago. I mean, look at me fucking hair for a start. I have fucking COVID hair.
How'd you get that shit going on? Is that? Have you had a cut? Did you get Ray to cut it or something?
No, I've just been. Funnily enough, I said to Ray the last time I had my hair cut, I had another number one fade, so I was virtually shaved, and then it was about 15 mil on top. Now, I could almost put it into a little ponytail, but I'm not going to. This is what I looked like when I was trendy fucking 16-year-old. This is my hairdo.
I'm a bit spewy. They've moved Blade Show west to Long Beach, California. So I thought that's a bit sucky because we can't get there. Because I reckon that'll be a fucking awesome venue compared to Portland. I mean, it's not like I've got anything against Portland. I have everything against Portland. The only thing that I had going for
They've made a show about how boring Portland was.
Yeah. So what, Goonies? No, that was
I think it was actually called Portland.
Portland. Yeah, no. So that'll be cool. Good luck to all the Americans out there going to that show, and sad we can't make it, but that's the way it is still. Yeah, I don't think for much longer though. By the sound of things, we're about to open up. Come hell or high water in New South Wales.
Yes. Don't know what's going on with the ACT, but we're just stuck smack fucking bang in the middle of all this stuff. So it's bloody. So there we go. We're apparently opening up on the 15th, but it's kind of bizarre.
I can't see them keeping it shut, but we'll talk about something else. We're going to move on. Yeah. So here we are, Knifemaking Down Under. What's been happening in your life, Kev? Where you been for the last few weeks?
Oh, mate, I'm in Crook, dealing just with some stuff, still dealing with some stuff, but I'm feeling better, but I'm not better, if that makes sense. I'm feeling good enough to be here tonight, looking forward to being here tonight. But I've just got a few things I'm just looking at, and unfortunately, lockdowns and stuff, although we're not really talking about them, they throw a fucking spanner in the works when you want to actually go and see a fucking doctor when you're Crook. And try and organise to get shit done. I've got fucking months to wait before I can get to see people that I need to see, and I'm just dealing with it as I deal with it. So I haven't had a lot of workshop time. I just haven't had the energy or anything. I haven't been able to get up there for long periods of time. When I have though, I've enjoyed it because I've been just putting myself under less pressure, and I'm working on a series of what I'd class anyway, some really nice fucking W2 chef knives, and I'm just pushing that extra level in doing them, and I'm just taking my time. So, if I get a few hours of workshop time at the moment, I'm happy. Done. Come back down. Jay was just asking, no Turkish delight. No, mate, Mert's taken. We did a tag team. Mert's out Crook tonight, and I'm in, which is good. Well, good that I'm in, bad that Mert's out.
Stephen Pratt says, was I dreaming or have you got a depot in Perth? Yeah, mate, it's not quite Perth, down in Mandurah. I don't know how to say it, but you guys will figure that shit out. Singleton, I think, is down there. Anyway, down that way, that direction. And yes, you can contact them through Facebook or just on the phone numbers on the website and organise pickups, and there's a fair bit of stock over there. It's not enormous, but it's enough for you to have something you need, I'm sure. So yeah, what else is news for me? I've been making a knife. I'm on to my second one for the year. It's kind of stalled. I just got a tapping machine, so naturally it's going to be held together by screws. 23 of the little fuckers. M1.4 mostly, which is small. And
right.
I'm working off a design that hasn't been made in over 100 years, a patented barrel knife patent, which is, it's fairly exciting for me. I've got it to the point where it sort of looks like it might work. And then my wife made me paint a whole bunch of furniture, and then she made me put some wiring in the roof. Then I fell through the roof, and now she's making me fix the hole. And, it's just going on and on, but I'll get back to it. Time will.
Just give me a second. I'm just sorting out my hotspot because I forgot to do that before, so I might drop out for a second.
That's all right. So I've been making this little knife, and I think the biggest mistake I made was I went to make it a small version, which means everything's, even M1.4 screws, too big. So actually a couple of them are M1, just so I could get the whole thing.
Like size 1, I've got one size 172.
Yeah, well, a 172 compared to so a 080 is the next size down from 172, and that's basically 1.4 mil. I'm working at, and the smallest ones I've got in it are 1 mil, so they're sort of nearly 30% smaller again.
Yeah, righto. That's madness, because from the thumb injuries that I've had, I struggle now just even picking those fucking little suckers up. All right, once get the screwdriver on them, but man, my desire to do bloody
well, while you're rehooking up, it's like everything in my shop. I'm using a modified pair of surgical tweezers to move and manipulate the screws because they're pain in the bum. And here we go, David Winch. Good on you.
And that was me. That was me just dropping out and getting me Wi-Fi sorted out. Sorry, everyone. Not that I was ever fucking good at what we do here on our podcast, but I am a little rusty. This seems like months. Probably has been months, actually. So the other thing that I've been doing, and Corin found out today because he gave me a quick call and I was in the middle of sort of a minor meltdown, was finally, I've had this for a while now, but I finally set up my Cowboy CB 3200 sewing machine because it was a real shit day here in Canberra. It was fucking wet and cold and windy and thunderstorm, so perfect day to do stuff inside. And I've been grabbing old scraps and old cutouts and stuff, and you know they look a bit shit at the moment, but practicing the stitching with my new sewing machine, and I can see I'm actually probably going to enjoy making sheaths now.
Yeah, the novelty will wear off, but you know, at least everything, you'll be sewing everything from now on. It'll be like that first 2 weeks of having the first 2 weeks of having a thread tapping machine. Everything in the shop gets tapped, and it's you get a cowboy sewing machine before you know it. You're sewing bondage gear just to be sewing something.
Fuck yeah! I hadn't even thought of that.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah. I was going to say, of course I have. The scrap bin of like that's three probably like 3.2, so 8-9 ounce. And once I got the thing fucking dialed in, it just went through that like fucking butter. There was my first attempt, which was just working on just.
Yours is so neat. Are you using an edge roller?
No, this was just manual, and I was just using the guiding with the foot. But I'll probably end up using. I got the edge roller. I'll use the edge roller, and I'll probably change to a single-sided foot. Work out which side's the best to use, because then you can stitch closer to the.
No, you get the left-sided foot, so it goes on the left-hand side of the needle. I'm looking at mine.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, left. I was had to look at it, left-hand side. But I bought a couple of spools of thread last time you guys, Gamico, had the sale on that shit, and I'm glad, because I reckon I'm going to go through probably about 450 yards of cotton in the next couple of days, just getting me stitching done. The pressure, that left foot, for anyone that's interested in hearing about the cowboy machine and stuff. Getting the pressure tension so you don't get those ugly footprints is probably one of the key things. And I actually I lightened the pressure on mine to the point where it actually, the tensioner popped out, which was kind of scary because it's like pointed out and went about 2 feet above the machine.
Not done that yet.
There's a couple of, still some light marks on here, but I reckon I've got a technique planned for when I do the stamping on the sheath to just accommodate that single foot on the machine. So I think it'll actually work out all right. But the biggest test and the thing that made me happiest about it was when I said Corin rang me and I had a meltdown, was I turned it on and it was set to run at, I don't know, like the motor was running at 3,400 RPM or something, which was killer fast. And so I then switched it back to the slower speed, which is probably still too fast for me, and then put the pedal down and nothing happened. Like the machine was running, but the stitching wasn't going on. Ended up there was just a piece of foreign material, excess stitch or something stuck in the spool. And I was like, oh, fuck, finally got it out, which, you know, had one of those, fuck, I've just spent shitloads of money, I haven't even laid one stitch down, and it doesn't fucking work. But I had my wife with me and she kept me calm and we worked through it, problem solved, we got it done.
Brad Stone says that's why his missus does cowboys. Douglas says, how did I finish up in a bunch of blokes talking about sewing machines? Well, Douglas,
it's a leather stitcher, or
it's a bondage gear maker,
industrial sewing machine, or a little bloody whipper fucking paddle pad.
Yeah.
Anyone
whatever
wants
turns
one,
you on.
Anyone wants one, contact me, and in complete confidence, I'll sort you out. No, don't be shy.
A sheath or a cowboy?
A paddle.
Whip, paddle.
Doesn't matter. I don't mind. I'm not
Spread
shy.
a bar, whatever. Yeah, right. Man, I've heard some stories. You've been there where we're talking about some of the people in knife making and the guys in leather that get approached. Man, it's some funny shit. We were down in Adelaide one year and someone was talking about making piggy faces. Were you there that year?
Probably.
Oh,
if it was at the bar,
funny.
I was too drunk to remember.
I never even knew such things existed. But Brad Stone's commissioning a pair of arseless chaps.
Now,
So
Brad,
there you go.
what I was told, and they're pronounced shaps, not chaps, but I was told in a conversation over in the US, which somehow got on, must have been with the Texans, and we're talking about arseless chaps, and they turned around and went, all shaps are assless. Oh, okay, good to know. So just ask for a set of shaps. Not they don't need to specify that they're arseless, but
there you go. You guys can take that offline and do a deal there. That's all right. Dean, how you going? So hello everybody. We're started. And David Heron loves his Cowboys. Good on you, Dave.
Cowboy. Yeehaw.
Yes, yeehaw. So it's a happy place. The old workshops never look better at my place. I've been beavering away fixing stuff. You know, every time I pick up a tool, I've got this thing now at the moment that every time I pick up a tool and I look at it and think I've been meaning to do something about that for ages, you know, like it needs to be reground or I just do it. And I'm just feeling like I've accomplished tons. Yeah. I'm learning how to airbrush, and I've been told that's going to give a new dimension to my sheaths. In my whole career knife making, I've made something like 5 sheaths, and airbrushing. You know, all that fading of the black edges and all that shit. Apparently, it makes that easy. I didn't buy it for that. I bought it to touch up some. I don't even want to talk about it, but I fucked up a paint job, and I
okay, that's all right. I thought I was getting back into bondage.
Oh, nah. That's why I bought the chain. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, it's all cracking along anyway, and the workshop's looking really good. I've got the tapping machine going. The drill press is beautiful. It's just magnificent, and I just keep looking at my other gear and thinking maybe I should start storing some of my other gear, but.
Yeah. So you've obviously been talking about that over the last few weeks when I haven't been on about your restorations and stuff, because fuck, you've sent me the photos, and I just want to do the same thing. I want to go and just hire a bloody kit to do some sandblasting and clean all the old stuff off and just crack into making things look 100%, because I've got a nice old wall down up in the top workshop, which I use quite often. Got it through Matt McVicker, but it just looks like a piece of junk. And every time I look at it, the same thing. I'm like, I want to do something about that. But
you saw the before and after shots of mine, eh?
Yeah, they're good.
It looks like it came off the showroom floor. I'm so there's not much I'm not fucking stoked about. I blued all the components again, re-blued everything. I cleaned everything perfect. It had I think I counted four or five layers of paint on it. The original paint, there was a blue layer, there was a yellow layer and a red layer. I don't know why it had so much paint, but it had big sags and runs and shit all through it. And I just cleaned it all back, made a huge mess and fixed it up. Bit of paint stripper, Bob's your uncle.
Well, that this feels like years ago now. That powered hacksaw that I bought, that's still sitting in the workshop waiting for a degrease at a minimum. But after I saw your work, I'm thinking it's going to get a degrease, like a complete strip down and a repaint, and just bring it back to new.
I was thinking of doing that with mine, the old Hercus one that I've got, but it's just so neat the way it is. So I just haven't, you know what I mean? Like I've got to make covers for the guards and the gears and shit, because I'm sure one day I'm going to get sucked into it, and it will not. There will be no forgiveness in that machine. There's no emergency stop button, and the gears on it are just huge things. It's totally exposed. It's just waiting to kill me, but I do love it. So one day I might do a resto on it, but I doubt it. I've only just done a bit of work on it. Brad Stone says, "What's a barrel knife sheath look like?" I was going to say like a sock, but it's just if you made out of leather, it'd look like an uncircumcised. Anyway,
like this little test piece that I was doing today, and happened to find the pliers fit into it nicely.
Nice, it made a belt pouch.
Yeah, that's it. Or pocket pouch, because I didn't put a loop on it.
Yeah. So,
sorry, I'm probably upsetting a couple of people like Doug. Didn't want to hear about
the other thing I've done was the air system in my shed runs around the outside. So when I built the shed with the bank's money, I put in all the plumbing, and I put in an airline that runs right around the shed. So I've got at all points around the shed, I've got compressed air, which is really good. And I've never regretted whatever that cost. I didn't even ask for the price. I just did it. But now I've got a new line that I just put in that runs across the middle of my workshop and picks up the welding bench, the drill bench, and my workbench. So I've now got compressed air on those benches.
Yeah, right.
Just as I had nothing better to do one day, and I had some. It's all done with scrap shit that you've seen my shop. There's a reason they call it Bunnings Picton, right? I've got every air fitting known to man. I just scavenged another 30 or 40 those little push connectors today, just out of an old bit of gear that was being scrapped. So I've basically got it. I've got it really. I'm really pretty pleased with it, actually. Except that compressed air, I use it around the drill presses to clean the swarf and shit away from everything. But I was thinking about it. It's more like a shit redistributor, because it sends it from here perfect, and it just goes everywhere else. So
I was doing the same with my mill and my wood drill, which are next to each other. You know, lazy man's cleanup, going beauty. And then you look around and go, there's shit everywhere.
The worst thing about the mill, the best thing about the mill is the wood planing attachments for doing your blocks.
Yeah, unreal.
But the worst thing about the mill is the wood planing attachments, because the shit fucking goes everywhere. I've cleaned it up. I got the vacuum on it and you can't really, when you're drilling with coolant and stuff, the swarf sticks and the vacuum doesn't work real well. So
it's not good.
I just blow it around, lies on the floor, and then I'll vacuum it up. All my feet pick it up.
Getting your thongs.
Well, yeah, if I'm wearing them. Yeah. I'm pretty anal about vacuuming. You know that. I'm pretty tidy.
Look, a couple of times, like I said, not feeling good, just having no energy and stuff. watched more fucking Netflix and Prime TV and whatever than I fucking ever have in the last month and a half. Not that it's a bad thing. I've watched some really good fucking shows actually.
Okay, who out there is watching Squid Game?
We're watching fucking what is it? Midnight Mass, and then my son comes out and goes. We just had it on Foxtel and that not Foxtel, Netflix, and the thing preview for that Squid Game come up, and my son comes out and goes, "Oh, this is really good, actually." And we're like, "Oh yeah."
It's gold, man. It's gold. It's gold. Just finished it, and you got to push through a little bit, but yeah, it's got a great ending. It's got to be a season 2 coming.
So the other question though, because it seems like we've segued on to talking about shows and shit, who listens to it? Who listens to these shows dubbed, and who listens to them in the natural language with subtitles?
The second one. I started watching it dubbed and said, "No, I can't do it." I put the Korean on and read the subtitles.
See, I'm a dubbed person, but you got to look at their eyes. You can't look at their mouth when they're talking. You got to look at their eyes.
Yeah,
and then it sort of goes all right.
I don't like the poxy American accents. They just don't work. They should just get people with Korean accents to read them. I just think it'd probably work better than some guy with a Texan accent or whatever. It just drives me batshit. So yeah, always dubbed. Always subtitles.
We watched one, and it was I'm so bad with remembering at the moment. It was like biotech or something, and it was like a Dutch movie, a Dutch TV show about genetic engineering and all that sort of stuff, with a bit of mystery and murder and whatever in it. And it's probably one of the best dubbed shows that I've watched, except for the Asian girl character. You just want to fucking throttle her. You're like, fuck you guys. How fucking stereotype fucking racist can you cunts be by putting that voice on that poor girl? Everyone else, you're like, yeah, that suits them. And the poor Asian girl in this movie just gets slapped with the fucking worst dubbing ever.
It's so yeah, a bit like the old Battle Royale. Yeah, that's basically it. But it's it's got a pretty good storyline, and the ending of I didn't pick the ending. Maybe I can't see into it, but
yeah, no spoilers.
But no. I didn't see it coming, not at all. So that's the last episode sort of thing. Even halfway through the last episode, still didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, righto. So that's probably next on the list. We've watched a lot of shit. But yeah, now going back from watching a lot of shit, my break from that was when I was going to go up to the workshop, and I'd just go up and literally get the vacuum cleaner out and fucking clean the workshop, even though it wasn't really dirty, just to be up there and get some, time in. Man, I jumped down. I did some heat treating. I forged a couple of blades and did some heat treating. I think I was up there for like 2.5 hours, and I was like, I'm so workshop unfit. It's not funny. I don't have it at the moment. I'm going to start cracking in and just start forging some blades and stuff, because I look at, hammering for about 20 minutes, and I was like, oh, my hands, I'm getting a blister. I can't hold anything. And I was like slapping myself. No, get back up there. Do more time.
Did you see? I did a forging job the other day. I knocked up these. Did I talk about that in the last podcast? The wall hanging plant holder things. They came up really nice.
Yeah,
they clamp on the brickwork and hold pots and flowers and things. So yeah,
clamp
they came
on
up really
the
good.
Brickwork.
Yeah, I put them up in the Australian group, the blacksmithing group.
Okay.
They clamp on it.
Yeah, people may or may not have missed me, but I haven't been on Facebook for longer than about 5 minutes. Every 5 days or something, I go on and click a few buttons and see what's going on, but not much. Instagram, I'll still get on. Can't help yourself with Instagram. I saw that comment from Brad. I was tempted to go and watch it, because going back to TV and this comment about how to be a cowboy, which relates to my cowboy sewing machine, arseless chaps and all that sort of chaps. Who was it? Might have been Dee. Might have been Dee and Cassie or someone on there was telling me about. It was Owen Ward sent me something with a line on there I didn't quite get, and he said, "Oh, you have to watch what's the fucking? So this is my memory. What's that fucking national park? Not Tombstone. Yellowstone.
Yeah.
That TV show Yellowstone. I got addicted to that pretty quickly too.
Yeah. Is that on Netflix?
No. Yeah. I had to stream the first season, and then I bought the second and third season on DVD because I was just fucking hooked. It's good. It's good.
Yellowstone. All right, I'll keep an eye. It's not a nature show or something.
No, it's all Kevin Costner's in it, and it's about the ranch life in Montana, and lawless, modern day lawless West, like cowboy style stuff, and there's some shit that goes on that's pretty fucking cool. So
those bracelets are cool, Corin. I think he's trying to say the brackets I made were cool, but if he likes bracelets and that, I'm not judging. I'm not sure.
I can stitch up some leather bracelets if you like.
And apparently we should pirate download Yellowstone. Anyway, let's get on with some interesting knife making down under stuff, Kevin. What's our what are we going to talk about?
Well,
TV.
Yeah, not TV. TV's like I've done too much TV. So one of the things that I've been doing, like I said, is I've been going up and just getting some work done. Had about five chef knife blades heat treated. Let me tell you about not interesting knife making things. Here's something that anyone that's done a bit of Hamon work on their knives will know what I did wrong. And it was one of those things where I got a little bit anxious, keen, let's say, and etched my blade to get a quick peek at the Hamon, but I was really early on in the process, so there were some really deep fucking scratches. Anyway, progressed further and further, hand sand this blade, go back for the final etch, bring it up, go through the polishing process for once on my knives because I like the darker Hamons. Got this absolutely kick-ass fucking alloy banding I've never seen before. Post a photo on my Instagram. Inside the clayed area or the non-clayed area, the auto Hamon area. And there's fucking lines in there from when I did the first test etch. But there's not scratches. You can see lines in there. Yeah. And this is something ages ago I think we talked to Keith about and stuff. I was getting over keen and looking at it. And I'm just kicking myself because I've not seen the alloy banding inside the actual softer area of the Hamon. Like it's almost like it's fucking. It's so almost like it's. I've gone back. I've gone back to like fucking 180 grit and gone all the way back up to 1500, and it's just ingrained. It's there. And so beginner's tip: don't even experienced tip. Don't get experienced. Don't get fucking lazy or too keen. Because I was trying something different. Don't know if I'll be able to replicate it, but I was trying something different. But yeah, like all that work, and if it's just got those little fucking lines on there, and I was like, if it didn't have that, it would just be the most kick-ass piece ever. It's still kick-ass, but it's probably going to be mine, or I might do I might go to some of the local restaurants and just do a pass around and see if some chefs want to use it, and because I've spent a fair bit of time. Like it's thin, it's got great geometry, it cuts really well. The alloy banding in there is just beautiful, but the rookie error was doing that, and I etched it for too long rather than just a 20-second or 10-second etch. Obviously, I left it in there too long, and now it's got these shadow things that look like it's not. It looks like it's not been finished.
Like it's got scratches in it. It's something to do. Yeah. I was talking to Kevin Cashin about that, and something to do with point loading on abrasives and the way that it affects the steel that forces that into the steel, like it becomes part of it. I don't know the correct mechanics of it. That's a really good thing. I'd like to know more about why that happens. But you see people put up Hamons that haven't got scratches in them, but they look like they've got scratches in them, and that's what it is.
Yeah, and that's what mine is. Unfortunately, mine's not like an even consistent sideways or lengthways scratch, it comes across on like a 45 degree.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, seriously, like, if it comes up on it, like, because there were a couple of others that I did etching about the same time. If it comes up on them, I'm going to be devo, because on my Instagram, I put up a post been using those Ross Arnold diamond stones.
Yeah.
So using those to get out any sort of imperfections. I don't know if anyone else notices taking a W2, taking the Hamon down, particularly on the disc when you're starting to, or for me when I'm starting to blend in my convex grinds, I have the backing on it, so it's not hard. And I find with the Hamons, where it's softer, where your Hamon is, you always tend to take a little bit deeper. So I think handset, I get it off the disc, and then I go up 320 on the disc at the moment. Then I go to the 400 Ross Arnold diamonds, or even the stones, those sanding stones you guys sell. They do the same trick, and I use those now diagonally just to get everything blended in on those convexes. And then 600 grit hand sand takes, on a 9-inch blade, takes about 15 minutes after you've done that 400. The 400 takes a bit of work, but you get all your deep scratches out and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I've got one which I'm so excited about but disappointed about, and then I've got another, I think there's another 4 knives there I'm slowly working on. I've sanded them now to 600 at least, 800 probably before I go for the etch, and then I've just got to cross fingers that I don't have a bazzer and see those bloody scratches again, or I'm just going to fucking kick myself. I'll have a whole brand new set of chef knives in the house. That will be W2 with fucking marks on
with
it.
Scratch marks in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm fucking So oh, that's good. Harmons.
Yeah.
So I learned, I did some heat treating, but I was doing a full cycle anneal. So in this project I'm working on now, I didn't want to go to all the trouble of making it out of going to all the trouble of making it and not use something that's nice for the blade. And so I looked around the shop what I had lying around, and most of the steels that I had are too good to go onto a prototype blade. Like, I don't want to put a bit of Sean McIntyre Damascus on a prototype knife that mightn't turn out any good. But what I found was a piece of Damascus that me and Adam from Tinderbox Knives made with Keith Flutter in 2012 or 2013 or something, like way back.
The shit stuff.
Yeah, but it is shit, because, and I'm not dissing Keith here, because we went another fold. We had like 320 layers, and we folded again and went to 640. So it's very, very tight pattern, but it'll be good for what I want to use it for. So I got that steel, and Adam's actually here. G'day, Adam. How are you? And he was there that day. So I got that steel, and and I started making the blade out of that. But the problem I ran into is it was sitting around 30 Rockwell, which I thought would be all right. But when I went to mill, it doesn't have any holes in it in this design. Oh, it does. It actually has 2 drilled and tapped holes, but I haven't put them in yet. I went to mill this slot that has to go into it. The slot's 8 millimeters long by 3 millimeters. So I chucked it up in the mill. And the first thing I just broke them. It started to cut pretty good, but then the mill broke, and I thought, oh, no good. So I got another mill out, and then I broke that. And then I thought, oh, fuck it. And I put my last one in and broke that. And then I thought, well, I better anneal it, because obviously it's not right. So I chucked it in the oven, wrapped it up in foil, and left it in over an 8-hour cycle to 20 degrees an hour from 850 to 650 or whatever it was. Anyway, it worked out. It worked out a lot of hours, and got up in the next day, and it's now under 10 Rockwell. It's soft as buggery.
Yeah, wow, butter.
So I just put it back in the mill and machined it easy with a different size mill, because I didn't have a 3. And anyway,
what are you using for your end mills, mate? Do you use high-speed steel ones, or
whatever the cheap Chinese ones are?
Yeah, same. Yeah, I buy them. It's funny because eBay had them for a while, and you'd buy, I don't know, like 10 for next to nothing. and I'll just get them, and I'll put up a pretty good stock, and then they seem to disappear for a bit. So I don't know what went on there. But I'm like you. I just go, well, if I can get 2 guards or a little bit of machining done on something, and it breaks after that, I don't care. I've got my money's worth.
I'm considering getting some good ones, but we're not using precision. You've seen my mill's a piece of shit. It's not a piece of shit. It's good for what I want it for, but it's not a robust, solid machine. It's got plenty of play in it, and there's issues. And that if the mill grabs, and even big end mills, if any of them grab, the machine's got enough movement in it that it'll break a mill. So I just don't really want to take $30 or $40 end mills to it. So
no, I'm
maxed out about $6.
Count my losses. Yeah, that's it. That much? Wow, shit.
Yeah.
I'm cheaper than
it's
you.
not like I will spend money on thread taps, because when a thread tap breaks in a job, it's an unhappy day.
And particularly if you're using those M1.4s or whatever they are, the 172s are tiny thread tappers. I've just seen it shit.
Yeah, well, the 080 is smaller again, and the one mill is even smaller. But I got to say, I bought cheap Chinese taps because I just thought I'll try them out. And you know what I really like about them? They don't break; they bend. But if you're tapping bronze, right? But if you're tapping bronze, and you only want to do a few holes, or copper or brass, and you only want to do a few holes, they're great. And you're not going to break them off in the job. You can wheel them out all woggly and bend them back out again. They don't hold an edge, and they're not going to cut 100 holes. But they were $6 each. Like, what do you want?
Yeah. I can't remember the name. There's a place in the US, and this is what I want to get back to the US for, is their abundance of shops to get cool shit from, to pack the suitcase in. But there was a place over there, I can't remember it now, the name of the joint, but when I was over with Bill and all those guys, we just set up a list, and there was like me and Bruce Barnett and whoever else, Toball and all those other guys, and we just put it in this like fucking massive order to this joint, and a day later, it's fucking on Bill's doorstep, and we're splitting up the fucking 1x72s, and I got a whole heap of bloody carbide reamers and all these other things from there. And they're the business end, like they were cheap because it's cheap over there. But if you bought
it's like McMaster's car. It was probably McMaster's car or something like that, like the equivalent of Blackwood's over there. Yeah. They got everything. And so I the thread taps that I've got from Sutton's, they're anywhere up to $75 each. One of them's a $90 thread tap. And if you break that, but the best thing about it is they don't break either. That's the Sutton ones that I've got are Fred forming taps. They don't even have flutes in them, so they're heaps stronger in that smaller size.
Yeah, righto. Yep.
They're for machine tapping, and I've got a machine now, so I thought, well,
why not?
Why not? Man, I'm so pleased with that machine. You got no idea, man. That was a
I can't wait to come up and use it.
It's great. It is really fun. It took me so long to get that machine and to secure it and find it. And when I say find it, it took Matty McVicker ages to find it, because if you want a machine, you just get Matt to find it, because he just sets up he's always wheeling and dealing, like your drill press. My drill press was from McVicker, put me under that as well.
And now he's working in a machining trade area. He's probably got even more contacts to that sort of stuff, more openings to that sort of stuff as well.
He's put me onto a bunch of cool stuff. And this is Adam and I used to say this all the time. A knife maker is someone who restores tools to make knives with, and that's pretty much the truth. We used to spend weekend after weekend, Adam and I, back in the late like 2009, 2010, something like that, making tools so we could make knives, because you couldn't really buy anything at that time. So it was like you wanted a pair of tongs, you had to make a pair of tongs, and if you wanted whatever, you had to go and make it. Except for grinders, we bought Radius Masters, the both of us, but they were the days. Yeah. So it was good.
My radius master's still going strong. I like it.
Well, I like mine too. Yeah, no issues there. I mean, obviously we sell great grinders, and it's always been the case for me that when it comes to the Radius Master, it's a wonderful design, but just for the same money, you can get so much more if you. Yeah, it's just
never a better time to be a knife maker. I reckon in terms of what you've got available for you. Yeah, budget up to Supreme sort of gear. That's just especially in terms of what's in Australia and the Australian guys making the stuff. It's fucking unreal.
Just we're running about 12 days behind on shipping at the moment. So there you go.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Yeah. Everywhere's fucked though. I'm buying stuff all over the place on eBay, and that the only thing, some stuff out of Melbourne gets here the next day, but stuff out of here takes forever. Everyone's in the same. Everyone's in the same thing. Same boat.
I've shipped stuff to people. I've stopped sending Express because Express is just shit. Although, funny enough, I bought some stuff the other day and I went, it was free postage or pay another $6 for Express. And I was like, well, I paid Express. And I think it's like 6 business days so far. And you're like, yeah.
It is what it is.
It'll get in. Yeah, no, it'll get in.
Just know that that's getting priority over everything else, even though, because that's what they're doing. They're prioritizing the Express Post stuff.
True.
But that'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, Sausage Man's new power hammer looks sweet. Now, I think we should have a bit of a knife making down under competition to see what colour he should paint it or keep it original.
Ooh.
I've been in his ear, just quietly, the original colour.
Is what?
Just so you know, the original colour was navy grey. But I reckon he should go British Racing Green.
If you're going to go big, I reckon black base with cherry red pearl paint over the top. But I've been watching a lot of Count's Custom Cars lately too. with some airbrushing. You can go airbrush some naked ladies and dragons on it for him.
Yeah, my naked lady will be a stick figure with tits. That'll be all it is.
Oh man, that thing is a beast. And it's funny because when you were talking before about Bunnings Picton, Jamie was also talking about you see his video that he had and he's got the fucking gauge on it. It's about that big, it's old school. And he's Bunnings Tacoma. And he hit me up about something one time. I'm like, Bunnings Tacoma? And he's like, my workshop. And I went, oh, yeah, I suppose so. He's like Bunnings Tacoma that's been at Bunnings that's been shut down for about 15 years, but it's still got all the cool old shit in
there. Jay's saying he only expresses posts and everybody's getting it next day. Just as long as you're not going anywhere near Sydney, I think you'd probably be right. You're shipping out of Brisbane. Even shipping into Sydney is not as bad. It's just inside Sydney is a fucking disaster. There was 3 at one time. There was 3 freight companies down, and everyone was using everyone else, and then they went down because it was too busy, and it's just been just a total disaster.
We got a Sendle package delivered at 10 o'clock at night. Those poor bastards are working like 20 hours a fucking day.
We got parcels coming on Sunday. Yeah. It's bizarre, isn't it?
This is like Saturday. Bizarre. I think it was a Saturday night at 10 o'clock. The fucking doorbell goes and the dog went off his fucking head. Of course, I've jumped up going, fuck, who the fuck's here at 10 o'clock at night Saturday? Go and open the door and, there's a package there. It's like, oh, shit. Oh, okay.
It's somebody that stole it off your doorstep 3 days ago and then realised they didn't know what the fuck it was. Put it back.
That's it. So they're like, they wanted us covered chaps.
British Racing Green with white racing stripes and then a Jaguar hood ornament. Yeah, that'd be all right.
Andrew Smith, the only problem if he puts a fucking Jag hood ornament on it, the thing will never run again.
So what's the test of time colours? What did I say to you, Jamie? You got to paint it the same colour as the fucking Flying Scotsman. I reckon that's the
What was the Flying Scotsman?
Green. It's a train.
Green.
Flying, Google it.
Oh, yeah. Nah, you're a train person.
Yeah. It's not like 3801 green, which is not a good green, in my opinion. But it's like, I don't know, it's very nice green. Yes.
I think the other David's hijacked David Heron's Facebook again because he's put wire brush and white with Caro.
Here we go. I'll share my screen. I got Flying Scotsman here. White with Caro. Well, that's fine.
Wire brush and white with Caro.
Yeah, and that's a good thing too, because that would keep it looking like, it's always nice to have a machine that works really well but looks like a piece of shit, if you know what I'm saying. Like,
like the rat rods with a primo engine and drive train, and the rest of it's rusty and looks like it's falling apart.
Right, but there's also the preservist in me who wants to,
of course,
who wants to see it just fully schmick, gloss enamel. There we go. So that's what I reckon there. So not that green, rather something like that, like that one there. Yeah, that green, not a good picture quality. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
beautiful.
But that's a nice green. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get a big fucking pickle hood ornament on it.
And Jamie reckons it's going to be Rusty Bunnings.
No, that's what his Bunnings is.
Oh, right, yeah.
Rusty Bunnings.
Express Post Platinum gets even higher priority, and it's registered Express, but it costs more. Yeah, whatever. I'm just waiting for stuff.
Darren, I'm a cheap bastard.
It would be good to disguise it as a Kransky. Get one of those cosplayers to make one of those foam costumes for it, so it looks like a Kransky that hammers. I'm owning that one. You're not allowed to use that. You have to pay me royalties if you do that.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Hey, Corin, I got some of that greenstone mallee. Thanks for your help. Oh, yeah, that's cool. Greenstone mallee is beautiful.
Yeah, I got some of that.
And
stashed away somewhere. I'm just.
So Jez says,
so
how fast?
close.
Jez, we're literally 2 weeks behind on packing because of the COVID case we had and all the fiasco that went with it. We've now still got people off. We're hiring. We've got 4 positions being filled at the moment, which will be filled next week. Most of those will be all filled. Jez, just if you need something urgently, we're there to help. Just ring us up and we'll get it moved to the top of the queue. But if you can wait, we do ask people to wait their turn because we are running behind. But we do try and make sure if we can get your order out, we will. All right. So I'm sorry, but I just had no control over that situation. So it is what it is. Yeah, that's right. See my wall down. Go with the logo plates, everything next level. Jamie should do the similar. I agree.
Fuck yeah. Don't go half-assed, Jamie. We'll fucking come up there and visit you when we're allowed and bash you.
And Raymond Davies went with colour shift. Yeah, the pin striping's got to be done as well. A little bit of that. You know what, like on the trucks, when they do the little scroll work? Yeah. I think they call it all the scroll. You got to have little scrolls and shit on there as well. So don't let us down, Jamie. You got to do this. It's all on you, mate.
Now I want to go and strip the little 15 kilo power hammer I've got and repaint it and get fucking little pinstripe details done on it.
Yeah, no, it is an interesting time anyway. But yeah, no, good luck with that. I'm really pleased to see him get that hammer. And just talking to him the other night, it sounds like he's got a lot of help out there from a lot of people. That particular model of hammer is very close to a nasal. And there's some guy called the Hammer Whisperer on Instagram is being giving him all the good oil, if you like, on how to get it going. So it's just good to see the community getting behind getting a machine like that going again. And good on you, Jamie, for doing it, because without people, a big machine, a machine like that's a commitment. Any 2-piece machine's a commitment. Like as soon as you've got to put a foundation in, you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like mine just sits on the slab and the slab's a bit cracked, but it's just good to see people putting in the time and effort. So yeah, good on you, mate. Appreciate it. And not only that, thanks very much for helping me the other night. We're doing the tech talks on the guild. That's the other thing I've been doing lately. So every Wednesday night we do a technical talk, which goes for about an hour and a half on different subjects. And next week, straight razors with Stuart from Boxer.
Yeah, good shit.
I'm really looking forward to that because that man makes a beautiful razor. So
I haven't been joining in live. I've been watching them afterwards. I've missed Bruce's one. I'm fucking kicking myself. Haven't watched it yet, but about the folders, so I want to do that. And last night's one I haven't watched, but I've had that was welding and stuff, wasn't it? With what's his face? My memory's gone.
Welding with Jake Summerall.
Jake. So yep. Jake came up here one day, or him and his wife came up to Canberra one day to do stuff, and he organised to come out just after I got my MIG. I'd had it for a little while. I got gas on it, so he came out and gave me enough, as he said, I've given you enough information now to make you fucking dangerous. But I can tell you, 2 hours, if you can get an hour or two with someone, my fuck knows what they're doing, that is absolute gold. And I reckon I haven't listened to his talk yet, but his talk must have been fucking amazing. Like, he's fucking switched on fella.
It was good. And it's hard to know with people. Like, welding there's so many things you could be doing wrong that, like you said, you couldn't cover it all, but at least people know that there's people out there they can talk to that actually have a clue or whatever. And, you know, I mean, there's so many people that are experts on welding on Facebook. Just put up a picture of your weld and see what happens. Like, drives me. I hate it.
I finished my cage because we're in lockdown still, and I just couldn't be fucked with dealing with shit. But I ran out of gas, and I only had to do 2 small plates to weld my fucking locks on. And there's like crumpets that have gone wrong. That's what my welds look like. But it was funny because someone commented on the prelude to that talk was a picture of a really shitty weld, and I was like, yeah, kind of looks better than my last. But gas is good.
On my crane, I welded on the pieces that hold the traveling gantry bit, and there's only 2 welds 100 mil long on those. And I got to say, like, I've welded for 20 years, but Jake says, "Oh, you've just got to practice." And I said, but like I said to Jake, there's no good practicing doing it wrong for 20 years. You know, like just because you've done something for 20 years doesn't mean you've been doing it right for 20 years. And doesn't mean you know what you're doing either. So I've been figuring it out, but all the things I thought I knew, my son's now a professional welder, and he comes over and he goes, "All that stuff you taught me is wrong, Dad." I was like, "Well,
didn't know better."
At least I told you. Nobody told me. I didn't even have YouTube when I learned to weld, mate. Like, there wasn't even YouTube. I read a book and then splattered shit on a bit of steel. And anyway,
that's like at one of the symposiums when Sean was doing a talk on machining, like guard slots and stuff. And you know, I always thought that my rickety little mill was shit, and he has the same one, so you can't blame the gear. And I just went over to Sean and said, "Oh, I was just doing it slow, thinking that I'd get it done better." And he goes, No, you were just taking your time to get the same fucking shit result." And I said the same thing. I said, "Yeah, but no one ever told me I was doing it wrong."
Yeah, that's what it's about.
That's just what I was told, and it was wrong, and fucking just went for it. But when you get someone that knows what they're doing, gives you the time, even in these tech talks, gives you the time to get it right. Holy shit, man, that's just fucking awesome. But yeah, Jake, when he came up, man, I think I welded together about fucking 200 scrap bits of steel. The other thing, actually, when you talk to someone, if you're thinking about getting into welding, is definitely talk to someone like Jake or many other guys that we see that actually are pretty proficient with what they do to get the right bit of gear. Because I didn't know when I went and bought my MIG welder, I just went and bought a gasless MIG TIG fucking art, whatever, and it was a 185, and that strains. It was okay for just tacking together billets, but now that I'm actually confident and want to try and build things, it's at its limit when you're trying to weld two decent sized beats of steel together. Because, as Jake was saying, it's all about the penne, mate. The penne, get the penetration. And
Well,
my
go.
Oh no, you're right.
No, what and yours go? I didn't.
Well, as I say, yeah, mine is at its limit when I want to start doing that, which is, in hindsight, a little bit frustrating because I didn't buy a cheap welder. I just bought an underpowered welder. So live and learn.
Yeah.
I just buy another one sometime down the trail.
And so you got a 180. You got a 180 MIG, right?
180 or 185.
I was talked by Jimmy, who some people know, James Dougherty.
Yeah.
Jimmy talked me into getting a 180 stick, and I was like, "Oh, I should get a MIG." He said, "No, get the stick." I've always had stick welders since my old Arlex stick welder, little red. Everyone remember those red boxes, weighed about 600 kilos. I had, so I got this welder, and they're so small now. They're so these little DC inverter welders.
Unreal. Yeah.
They're unreal. And you can weld 10 mil plate with it. Anyway, I was really pleased when he said that was one of the best welders to get, because I got it for starters. But also, the other good thing about it is when you've got a stick welder, you can change the sticks and weld pretty much anything. I can put a cast iron stick in there, weld cast iron. I can put a stainless steel stick in there, weld stainless. I can put a normal stick in there, weld normally. It's a bit expensive to do that with a MIG, because in often cases you can't do that with a MIG. So yeah.
Yeah, I can change mine over apparently pretty quickly, but I've never bothered looking at the instructions to go back to stick. I had a decent little Arlec blue stick welder, and I can't remember who. I gave it to someone. I was like, I got my MIG now, don't need that. Flogged it off or gave it away, and now I sort of regret it, because like stick's good for those jobs where you want shit to stick. And MIG, in my view, MIG's good when you've got a lot of small welds to do, and you just want to be able to go. Zzz, 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 zzz.
Oh, it's a hot glue gun for steel. They're awesome for that. Yeah.
Yeah, like my cage that I just finished, when I still had gas and was welding on the fucking steel onto that, it was just unreal, just tacking everything up, no worries.
And the other talk that he did was on fly press forging, which was a good one as well.
Oh, yeah.
Just different tooling, making sandmai and blades and stuff with forging sandmai blades and integrals with a fly press, which was pretty cool too, and all the tooling that he uses.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. I enjoyed that one. So I don't know, maybe the guild will make all the talks public one day, I don't know, but they're available still on the guild's members site. So until they're not. Yeah.
Yep.
And what else, man? So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Other than that, I've been learning how to spray paint because my wife wanted furniture painted. That's pretty much it. So I've still got paint on my hands, and I'm going to have more when I do some more.
My hands are the cleanest they've been in about 5 years, and I hate it. I'm looking at it going, why are my nails white? What's wrong with my nails? I must be sick. I've got white nails.
So no. So yeah, I'm pretty much it, mate. I think the tip that you gave earlier about if you're not in the mood to go into the shop, I think going out there and tinkering, just even if you're just cleaning benches, putting stuff away.
Yeah.
I'll put a podcast on, and I just I just do stupid fucking shit in my head to keep me busy, but I'll just think, I'll count 20 things, put 20 things away. So or make 20 things better or something like that. And I'll just go around and do that. And then by the time I ever get to 20, you get to 10 and you found something you want to do, and you're off. So
yeah. Well, I've been like that. Like I said, going up to the workshop, just going, feeling pretty knackered. I won't plan too much, but then chuck some music on or whatever and start cleaning. And then next thing you know, I'll go, fuck, I'll get that diamond stone out, start just diamond stone the blades. 3 hours later, Ray's calling me in for dinner, and I've actually done some work, and I feel good. But the other thing is, if you don't want to be there, don't be there. The funny thing is, I now have a blanket ban for going into my workshop on Father's Day, because 3 years in a row, I fucking injured myself where I needed to go to hospital on Father's Day. Ray's like, that was one of those ones where I just went up and went, I'm just going to go and vacuum. She's like, don't you turn anything on. Can I turn the vacuum cleaner on? Oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. I don't know. I've just been tinkering and I've loved it. Like I said, everywhere I look in the shop, I've made the drill press plates, fixture plates, and all that. I spoke about that before. I've now got the air there, so I can blow all the swarf out of those plates. I've got a new nozzle, so I could reach in there and blow all the swarf out, spread it all over the shop. Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's just good. It's just good. I don't really have much else to talk about, really. So ask some questions, guys. Tell us what you've got.
I'm a bit light on stuff that I've done. So, yeah, hit us up with some questions or tell us what you've been doing. When we go back, Jez, I'm going to regress a little bit, but I saw something where, Jez wrote when we were talking about TV, Rurouni Kenshin is on Netflix, and it's this savage fucking samurai fucking thing, and you've got to watch at least the first sort of 20 minutes of that movie if you want to watch a bloodbath going on.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah, that was cool.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I started watching it, then it stopped, and then I went, no, I've got to go back and watch that, but I'll start it again. Yeah, pretty cool. Who else? Yeah. So hit us up, fellas, if you want to talk about anything, or we'll call it an early night. I don't mind either way.
There's no more. How'd you go with your sword? You done anything on that?
No, because I need to heat treat it, which I've got a tank big enough to heat treat it, but then tempering is the issue. And I don't want to do a torch temper. Or am I being silly and should I just do a torch temper?
No. Well, you are being silly, right? Because they were making swords and tempering before they had gas forges or electric furnaces. So you are being silly. But there's also the half-assed approach of I am going to all the trouble of making a sword. I don't want it to suck.
Correct. And that's being the first one, particularly out of W2, and I'm hoping to get a really good Hamon on it as well. Then I don't want it just to be a fucking wall hanger. But no, I haven't really. I've done this silly thing of I've put it up opposite where I sit and work all the time. It's up on a shelf where you normally put those yellow tubs on your wall in those brackets.
Yep.
And every time I'm looking up at it going, fuck, I've got to do something with it. But I know as soon as I heat treat it, that's when I'm getting into that situation. So I was potentially going to wait till Mert was feeling better and just flick it up to him because he's obviously done his heat treatment on a couple of swords and tempered them with his setup. Or the other side is I just jimmy up something that he's done, like build an extension to my kiln, because the old school Paragon I've got is it's probably only needs another 3 or 4 inches of length on it for that particular sword, because it's not a massive sword. It's only
so just like your missus, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, we were talking about that before. When Jay was saying, hate it when you're at your max and you still haven't got enough peno. I'm assuming he was talking about welding.
Heat treated 16 blades with no major heartache. Okay, Cross. There you go. Good on you, buddy.
Nice.
Any tips on cleaning blades before etching? I've tried acetane and degreaser, and it still seems to have an issue with a little oil. I use hot soapy water actually now.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what I'm doing.
I do Jif. I use Jif and a sponge.
Yep.
And Jif it, and then chuck it in clean water. Rinse it in water. Dry it straight in.
And straight. Right. Get into the other thing. I don't have Jif. I just use direct dishwashing liquid and put dishwashing liquid all over it, and then just rub it in with my fingers, and then wash it like that, and that works really well. But I'm working on another little bolt buy idea that I've got, which might answer this one as well. Don't worry about that. Okay, Brad Dodd, next knife show in Oz. Where and how and who knows? Well, what's the good word on Adelaide?
Good word on Adelaide.
Is it postponed? Do we know?
Well, I think officially from the KAA, Adelaide Knife Show is now done, postponed till next year. I believe that Peter Bald and Ryan Doodle are looking at doing a smaller event for the Adelaide makers and the Adelaide public.
Yep.
So if you're in Adelaide, it could be that the show progresses. It'll be a smaller show, locals only, obviously with all the restrictions. If that happens, though, and you're in South Australia, please go and support it. If you're a few hours away and you want something to go for a drive, get there and support it, because the smallest of events at the moment, I think anyone would want to go to. So for the Knife Art Association, and we get questioned about this sort of stuff a bit, and so people get a bearing on the president, and Corin, you're the treasurer or so.
I'm the treasurer.
For the Knife Art Association, with the shows that we run, they are not small fry. They're not cheap. So we just can't afford to run that risk of not having a viable show. We've run a lot of shows with small loss, which is okay, because we recoup our costs elsewhere. But
when you're losing 30 or 40 grand,
when you're dropping 40 grand on a show, obviously being a not-for-profit entity and the hard times we've had, it just makes it unviable. So
we've got to mitigate our losses and our risks. Yeah. So it just is
playing the safe game at the moment. But I can guarantee you that, like we've said probably a few times, we have said a few times along these ways. The first knife show, particularly like the larger style knife shows that goes ahead, by fuck, that's going to be a big event. If I sell a few knives, I'm going to have to chip in a few bucks to the tab for the bar.
Who's watching us? Who's watching us in Michigan?
Who's that? You come up as Facebook user.
Fellas, click on it. That's a long way from home. All right, so let's go back and smash through these. Adam Coombs, someone down there in the comments has said that it could be oil on your ferric. So you're cleaning it really well, but you've got some contamination on your ferric. Maybe try it.
Yes.
Next knife show.
Tip with that is just get a bunch of paper towel, fold it up so you've got like one face, not fold it, don't scrunch it, and rest it on, drop it, rest it on, drop it. Because I refilled my lazy method. Here you go. Lazy method when I was doing my W2 stuff. I just boiled the jug and topped it up.
Yeah.
And there was a shitload of contaminants on the surface. Like the first etch I did came out and it looked like it was junk. So I was, here we go again. Too long between drinks, that sort of stuff. So I had to basically swab out the shit, and I had half a bucket full of paper towel and ferric. Keep it clean, keep it mean.
Yeah. Give it a go. Could be that. Quick to connect couplings on gas. All right. They're really good. If you get good ones. If you get cheap ones, they can be a real pain, and particularly at the pressures that we run it. Normally on a barbecue or little appliances like that, quick connects aren't an issue at all, because you're running at 2.75 kPa and it's like it's trying to stop a fart. It's pretty easy to do. But when we're running at higher pressures, like 350, 400 kPa, you want a decent one. I sell a few different ones and can tell you about those options. But if you want my recommendation on what I would use and what I do use, they are Tema brand couplings. Tema. The Tema couplings are used in the hydraulic industry as well. And the best thing about them is that they cut off on both sides. So when you disconnect them, you don't get a gas leak coming out, gas pouring out of one end, which at high pressure can be considerable. They just break and make, and they're also lockable. So you can, they've got a little locking ring that allows you to stop them coming apart and stop the kids playing with them. So the Tema brand is the ones, but they're not cheap. It's like anything though, you get what you pay for. How many quenches should I get with canola before you should change it out? 1084. I don't think I ever changed my canola because I didn't have anywhere to put it.
I just kept topping it up.
Yeah. It's just I don't. But then I, like most people who heat treating canola, I was never measuring my hardness. So I don't really know what I was getting. Oh, well, that's not true, Adam. And I did do a lot. We did a hell of a lot of blade testing. We used to snap shit and yeah,
Yes.
that's not true. But the canola, I would, if it looks like canola oil, then I would say it's probably all right. If it looks like sump oil, then it's probably time for new oil.
Tip it out, start again. Canola. If you're going to use canola, fair dinkum is just cheap as chips. So just don't scrimp on it. Use it for a while. I'm doing my
1084 in K now, and
you guys were talking about that.
Significantly better. It's significantly better.
Okay, so maybe
that's like 3 points of Rockwell hardness on average, 2 to 3 higher.
And you're not getting anything breaking, but I mean, you're probably talking about
no, because I made stuff. I did a bunch of test swatches and stuff with my son and people's knives and stuff that have come here and make knives with me that aren't my knives. Those ones.
Yeah. So you reckon K quench on it? I'm going to try that out because
you got some there. Just do it.
Yeah, I got it. I got plenty of stuff there. So.
Oil on the ferric. That's from Mark Burnett. So thanks for that, Mark. Just let me find out where I was.
Anthony's.
I said I'll drive 700 days. Yeah. The problem is the Delta variant gets down there, then Adelaide's going to shut down for a minimum until they get vaccinations up and shit. It's just the way it is. Like we're living it up here.
And another reason, sorry, going back to the KAA's explanation, another reason why we called it now is because Adelaide government weren't prepared to give us the go-ahead until only a month out, and we just couldn't risk waiting that long to then find out all the money that we had held up in advertising and everything else would be particularly probably non-refundable at that point. So, yeah, it's out of our hands. And hey, it sound like Groundhog Day, 21 odd months of this. Ugh, I want a knife show. I'll go to a knife show. I'll pay for a table. I won't take anything up. I'll just
to go and talk to people.
Yeah, that's it.
Raymond Davies, hey, when doing a Japanese debber, what is the best way to get the steel square against the timber handle? Now, I've read this comment a couple of times, and I've never made a debber. That's the first thing. But I've made lots of hidden tang knives, and I also, obviously, the barrel knives go in square as well. So I'm not too sure. When you say the steel, you're talking about the blade square to the handle. I don't even understand how you could fuck that up. What am I missing?
Yeah, are you talking about like the blade not being skewed when you put it in, or are you talking about the actual shoulder connection? Because if it's the shoulders, file guide.
Yes.
If it's the orientation of the blade, if it's a little bit left or right, that's just how you dig out your bloody channels.
Get a good drill press. Get a good drill
press. Yeah, and that's
start with square. Start with square timber.
That's that piece of the fly bit for the mills if you've got a mill. But otherwise on your grinder, try and get them as square as you can.
Get it absolutely square. And the start of getting stuff square in a knife always starts with square material. So get your handle square. Yeah.
I was watching a show where they were making a cabin in the middle of fucking nowhere, and the guy that was there was saying, mate, if it's a quarter inch out at the bottom for being square, there's going to be an inch out at the top when you go to put your roof on. And that's sort of the same philosophy. I thought about the knife making. It's like, yeah, if you're not square to begin with, you're fighting shit your way up all the time. So
all of my really the biggest learning in my knife making is starting with square, and that's something that I was always too lazy to do, I guess, because squaring a block, there's no point. You're going to make it round. Why make it square first? But you can't actually measure or draw or mark out or do anything unless the block is square. And I've learnt that the hard way. So if that helps somebody, I didn't just learn it the hard way. I think Sean McIntyre said it to me every every time I ever asked him anything.
Yeah.
Same as you. Yeah, right. Start with it square. And by the time you get a height gauge and everything, guard, everything, start with it square, and then work from it, mark everything out from there. Use reference surfaces even. If you can't get it perfectly square, always measure from one face. I don't know if we're answering the question, but anyway, that's okay.
That's actually, when you're thinking of buying timbers and stuff as well, there's a reason why, when you're buying a stabilized piece of timber or a nice piece of unstabilized timber from someone, if it's been machined and prepared well and it's square, it's worth the extra $10 that you pay for it. Rocco Handmade, Michigan.
Good
Hey,
to
mate,
see you,
Rocco, are you on Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram. Let's get you a shout. Give him a shout out. I don't know where my phone is, but fucking.
I've got mine right here.
Look him up. I'll look him up. I'll look him up on the computer.
Surprisingly enough, he's Rocco Handmade, all one word.
Whoever would have thought it. Just bear with
I like
me.
your stuff too. No, shows overseas, fellas. I'm going to look at Rocco's work.
Yeah, I'm doing it now. Just a minute. I'm going to put it up as a shared screen while everyone sits there and waits me.
A lot of Skagel style hunters by the look of it, which are fucking cool. I love those styles.
There we go. Just let me get that up. Share screen.
I think there's some nice chef knives.
Add to stream. Boom. There you go. Rocco Handmade. Let's have a look what he does, eh?
Well,
hey, that's not shit.
Rocco, Kev's Forge has just followed you, mate.
Yeah.
They've got some really nice stuff there.
What's that? Is that a leather? Are they leather spaces there? G10. What do we got?
A lot of the Skagel style stuff is leather.
They look like fibre.
Okay, so yeah, it could be leather or fibre or micarta or something like that.
Oh, G10.
G10 sort of stuff. They're cool looking,
they're nice. Yeah, they are nice.
That's a real traditional Skagel style knife. That's nice. And for anyone that's having a quick look,
hey, that looks like that hawk you made. Remember the one you made out of the
oh yeah, the Tharwa beginner kit. I've still got that. Let me go and grab it.
Nice to know what those spaces are, Rocco. They're very nice the way you're doing that. That helps. Good work. File guide for your shoulders. Yes. There we go. We're waiting for Kev to come back, and we're just scrolling through Rocco's Handmade Instagram. Go and follow him. Give him a shout out from Michigan. Up there with probably Kevin Cashin. You know Kevin? He's a mate of mine. See name dropping. See how I did that? Bit of Damascus G10. Yeah, nice. So there you go. All right.
Well, another person to follow on Instagram. Love it.
Yeah, I'm going to do it now. There you go. Follow back. Oh, he's following us. Oh, look at that. He's following me. Look at that. Hey, there you go. Have to make a barrel knife, dude.
Yeah, just ignore that.
Yeah.
Skagel barrel knife.
A Skagel barrel knife. That'll be cool.
Yeah. I got to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
I've just flashed an idea in my mind about that one. But this is a few years ago. We had a competition. We had a competition for the Canberra Knife Show, and it was making a knife out of the beginner kit, the Corin cells. And so what I decided I was going to do was not make a knife, but I was going to make a mini axe. And what I did was forge welded, sandwiched the 3 pieces of steel there, did some firework on the back, and it's I guess an integral to a degree. And that's me little. I use this for chicken wings when I'm chopping up chicken wings.
Ah, nice.
Cool.
Buffalo wings.
Yes. Buffalo wings, yeah. So that was out of one of the little kits. That was a good fun challenge to make and sort of stretch the boundaries a little bit, I guess. But mainly because I started doing it and then just was like, fuck, what am I doing? I've got no idea what I'm making. But it's cool. It's a cool little axe. I love it. Little chicken wing killer.
Fucking awesome.
Very good. All right.
Awesome.
So.
Yep, we're good. So using fiber G10. Okay, here we go. He's there. Using fiber G10, aluminium, brass, copper, micarta for spacers. Horsehide for my leather in the handle stacks. Thanks for the shout out. No worries, Philip, mate. No worries. Good to see you on this time of day.
Thanks for signing in, man.
Yeah, saying hello. All right, guys. I'm done, I reckon. What do you reckon, Kev?
Yeah, I'm done. That was good.
Guys.
Good turn back. Thanks, everyone.
Stay safe. Stay sane.
Yeah, stay sane. That's the main thing. Stay sane. Talk to your mates. I've been catching up. I actually want to I'm not going to name anyone in particular. I just want to give a shout out to a whole lot of you guys that contacted me just to check up, make sure I was okay. Because I wasn't 100% there for a little while, and that sort of stuff just really, really makes the headspace good. Keep in touch with your mates, particularly when we can't go and visit in person. Just ring people up. And I know a lot of people know. I ignore. Not that I ignore calls. I just sometimes don't have the phone near me. Sometimes
you fucking do. You fucking
sometimes
do.
I just don't want to talk.
You ignore my calls.
I called you back.
You did today. That's the first time that's ever happened.
And I liked your voicemail.
What did I say?
That's something like, "Oh, it's Corin. I'm here, but I'm not here. So leave a message," or something like that.
I just thought you'll never listen and you'll never call me back. So what does it matter?
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway,
and I've got my little mate here again today.
Oh, good on him. How is he? He likes you, doesn't he?
He's a good boy. I realised he was sitting outside the door here the whole time we were doing the podcast, so I just let him in.
Well, my dog, when he goes to work with me, he sits at everybody else's chairs. He just sits there like he's doing. I'm like, why don't you like me anymore? Because everybody else got schmackos in their pockets.
That's it. That's like him at the dog park.
Yeah, right.
Little bastard.
Fair weather friend. That's what he is.
Yeah. All right. So thanks everyone. Oh, Andrew. Andrew Smith. Did we draw the previous awesome dual grinder Gamico voucher raffle yet? Because he's just saying, and we'll encourage you to go and check out the next Knife Art Association raffle. Keep Stewart,
the raffle supported, yeah.
Yeah, so Keith Stewart, Keith Flutter, Brett Selly, and Ian Stewart are the makers on the one there.
Yeah, good work. So
I didn't get a phone call to say that I'd won the other one, so I'm assuming I didn't.
No, I didn't even buy a ticket. But I probably get enough free shit, so I'll shut up.
I do all right. I shouldn't say I don't. I shouldn't say I don't need any more machinery, but I've got a reasonable amount of machinery.
I have a rule in my shop at this point. It's machine in, machine out. Something comes in, something's got to go.
Yeah, well, let me know when you get something new in. What are you getting rid of?
Yeah, well, the last one was a multi-tool and it went to a beginner. So free.
I don't away ages ago.
Yeah.
Very good.
Drawn and gone. The raffle's gone and won. There you go.
Yeah, keep supporting the Knife Art Association through the raffles too, people, because A, it keeps the industry going when we do get those shows going. B, Andrew Smith is a dead set legend of a fella and it keeps him employed, which we don't want to change. And it keeps the interest going in knife making in general in Australia and around the world. So just unfortunately, if you're in Western Australia, contact someone in the eastern states for an address when you want to buy tickets.
Yeah. Didn't we fix that? I think we might have fixed that. I don't know. I'm not going to get involved. I got a little lot. We're going. Bye.
All right. Okay, everyone. Ciao. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Knifemaking Down Under podcast. We're the best.